Good evening. Welcome to our council meeting of August 12th, 2024. At this time, we'll have roll call. And everybody's accounted for. Okay. And uh, as of right now, council person Dusty is absent. Okay, then we'll go to number 3. The Pledge of Allegiance will be led by um, Vice Mayor Arnold Lopez. And then the invocation will be by Councilman Mike Antozola. And the flag has been moved to the front.
Pledge allegiance
To
to
the
the flag
of United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under
God,
God,
indivisible, liberty
and justice
for all.
Heavenly Creator, we come before you this evening to ask you for guidance and to give us the wisdom that we need tonight to do what we need to do for our community. We are thankful for our department heads, such as our city manager, our assistant city manager, our city clerk, all of our department heads, and most of all, we value our employees. And we also are honored to serve the citizens of this great community of Safford. We ask you to be with us tonight, and we ask this through the Heavenly Creator's name. Amen.
Thank you. We'll move on to item number 5. Be any citizen comments on agenda items? We'll move on to item number 6, citizen comments on non-agenda items. We have one, and it's for Vance from the Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, Vance Bryce from the Graham County Chamber of Commerce. And I'm really excited to invite you to the Salsa Fest mixer we're having at the venue on Main Street. We're having it from 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock p.m. on Thursday, September 26th. If you're interested in coming, please shoot me an email. We're also looking for volunteers to help welcome people to the city of Safford at 3 different times during the weekend. So if in that email you can say whether you're available to help participate in welcoming people to Safford as members of council, we would love to have you help out on the stage, help out at the mixer on that night. So just send me an email, and that would be great. And we've also invited members of staff here tonight. Thanks.
Thank you. We'll move on to item number 7, new business. First item is special event liquor license application for the Oktoberfest.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I come to you to speak about another liquor license request in support of the Oktoberfest on October 19th in association with the United Way of Greenlee Counties and the Graham County Chamber of Commerce. Our strategic goals meet public information and outreach. And the background is as follows. This is a one-day event scheduled for Saturday, October 19th, 2024, from 3 o'clock to 11 p.m. The event will immediately follow this year's 24th Annual Harvest Festival on the Safford City Hall lawn along Main Street between 8th and 7th Avenues. Proceeds from this event are to benefit the United Way of Graham-Greenlee Counties. Our analysis, the Graham Chamber of Commerce Special Events License application provides a detailed security plan similar to the ones that we've already spoken to for the Spring Festival as well as Salsa Festival. The security plan, which include cordoned off area identified by barriers, signage, and defined open container alcohol zone encompassing the entire City Hall lawn. There will be only one controlled entry and exit point, which if you see the picture, it's in the green. That's all throughout the whole October Festival. During the day's Harvest Festival, we will have extra openings in the perimeter for guests to come through. But once 3 o'clock comes around, we will secure down to one with security in place to monitor people as they come in and exit, so we make sure no alcohol leaves the lawn itself. Again, all handlers, all bartenders will be Title IV certified through the state. And the Oktoberfest has become a seasonal, traditional, and a great opportunity to promote a sense of community, unity, morale, pride, while supporting United Way. And the staff recommends approval of this application. Barring any questions, that's all I have, gentlemen.
And it's good to go because the application I got's not filled out. It's signed, but it's not filled out.
Copies that I have are all complete. For the license itself,
Yes, for the application. As long as you got one, then we're good to go.
okay.
Because I got Mr. Bryce's signature, but not the rest.
That's, I have a copy right here. It's completed.
Okay, sir.
Anybody else?
Yeah, mine. Oh, he just did right now. He refreshed his, he got it.
Okay.
Anybody else have any comments, or questions?
Mayor, I move that we approve the special event liquor license application for Oktoberfest.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the special events liquor license application for the Oktoberfest. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And we'll go on to item number 2, the request for the mayor and the council to review and approve the August 26, 24 council meeting minutes. Gee. Did everybody have a chance to review them and any comments or changes?
Mayor, I make the motion, we approve the August 26, 2024 council meeting minutes.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the council minutes for August 26, 2024. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It carries. Number 3, electronic resource policy. Sylvia?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is a request for Mayor and Council to approve an updated electronic resources policy, and our strategic goals are quality of life or library services. The background is the library reviews all of our policies to ensure they comply with current procedures and national library practices. Additionally, the library is in receipt of E-rate funding for fiscal year 25, which reduces the cost of public internet access. A requisite of E-rate funding is an updated and approved internet access policy by the library's governing body. The previous policy was approved in 2019. So the following additions were made to the previous policy to comply with current practices, E-rate requirements, and Arizona state statute. Only those 18 and older can obtain a temporary login for public computer access. Wi-Fi access does not require a library card. Usage of other library accounts other than the customer's own is prohibited. Library staff can terminate public computer sessions due to inappropriate customer conduct. Participating in or committing telecommunications fraud is a prohibited activity on public computers. The library does not provide email accounts, but staff can direct the public to free email services. We've added a children internet use section that explains caregivers of minors are responsible for monitoring their child's use of the internet. We've added a printing section that explains there is a fee for printing, both from the public computers and through wireless printing, and printing fees can be paid by cash or with credit card. And we've also added information on how a suspension of internet privileges can be appealed and where to send that appeal. We clarified that. And with that, I'll stand for any questions.
How do they appeal it?
They would actually send a letter directly to the director of the library. They can send a formal letter to ask for an appeal.
And who,
So the director would go, because the director would review it and see what the circumstances were of the suspension of privileges, and then they would let them know in writing what that decision was. You're welcome.
anybody else?
And paying for it, you say cash or credit card, them are the only 2 ways, because there's a lot of other fancier ways of paying nowadays. So those are the only 2.
Mayor and Vice Mayor Lopez, yes, for printing, yes. We only accept cash or credit card. So if it's more than $5, we will accept a credit card.
Anybody else?
I don't know if this is time or when it's new, but that question's arising again about weekends. I know you tried that just recently. I forgot what you came up with. I might have to get with the managers and visit with you on what we came up with so I can relay what we attempted.
Yes.
Anybody else have any comments or questions?
Mayor, make the motion that we approve the electronic resources policy.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the electronic resource policy. All in favor? Opposed? Carries. Number 4, marketplace policy.
So good evening again, Mayor and Council. This is a request for the Mayor and Council to approve an updated makerspace policy. A background is the library does review all policies to ensure they comply with current procedures and national library practices. And use of the makerspace, which is located at the library annex, has continued to grow as community needs have dictated. And additionally, we've added more services to the makerspace offerings. Those services include 3D printing, a Glowforge, that's an engraver that will utilize a laser. It cuts, engraves, or scores materials like wood or acrylic. A Cricut machine for cutting materials like paper, vinyl, and cardstock. And we also have recording equipment available so the public can record oral histories, podcasts, or music. And as far as the policy itself, we've added some changes and we've made some additions. We've lowered the minimum age allowed for makerspace participation to 10 with caregiver consent. And we've added a section for limitations of equipment, including not using equipment for significant production or manufacturing. We've specified that fees for services must be paid prior to the beginning of a project. The cost of filament is now 0.05 cents per gram. We've added what services are available with an overview of the equipment available to use. And we've also, again, added the same information about how to appeal suspension and where to send that appeal. And we do recommend that the mayor and council approve the updated policy. And I will stand for any questions.
Do you offer faxing?
No, sir, we do not.
You have notary?
Not any longer, no.
Make the motion, we approve the maker space policy.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the makerspace policy. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll move on to item number 5. Item number 5 is the landfill backhoe purchase.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is a request for the Mayor and City Council to approve the purchase of a Caterpillar 420 XE backhoe loader from Empire Machinery. This will be a cooperative contract purchase using Omnia Partners RFP 212816-01. Little background, this City of Safford Landfill Division currently has 2 backhoes, one 2002 Cat 416D and a 1998 John Deere 310 backhoe. They're intermittently used. Both backhoes have outlived their useful life and have started to become maintenance problems. Staff's original thought was to trade both old backhoes for one new backhoe, but after further discussion, it was decided to keep the John Deere backhoe, which has solid rubber tires on it, to use at various locations at the landfill. The 2002 Cat was purchased used in 2006 for approximately $44,000 with almost 4,600 hours on it, and it has given us an additional 18 years of service and an additional 3,800 hours. Empire Machinery has completed an inspection report of this machine and provided a trade-in value of $11,800. Staff has found that the contract price submitted by Empire Machinery through Omnia Partners satisfies all legal requirements of the bidding process. The City of Safford Fleet Division has budgeted $177,000 for the purchase of a backhoe. Therefore, staff is recommending that the mayor and city council authorize the City of Safford Fleet Division to purchase the 420 XE backhoe loader from Empire Machinery at the Omnia Partners contract price of $165,385.24, plus any applicable tax and or fees. This price includes the trade-in value of $11,800 for the 2002 416 backhoe. And I stand for any questions you may have.
Sir, and this and the next item you're going to bring up, they were submitted to the budget.
They were both in the budget, correct?
I'll make the motion, we approve the landfill backhoe purchase.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the landfill backhoe purchase. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. We'll move on to item 6, street vibrator roller purchase.
Yes, this is a request for mayor and city council to approve the purchase of a CAT CB 4.4 vibratory utility compactor, which is our steel wheel asphalt roller from Empire Machinery. This would be a cooperative contract purchase from Omnia Partners using RFP 212816-01. The background, the City of Safford Street Division currently has one 1994 CAT CB 224C steel wheel roller that is intermittently used for asphalt paving and patching. This 1994 machine has outlived its useful life and has been an ongoing maintenance problem for the last few years. This machine was purchased used in 1995 with 84 hours on it, and it's given us almost 30 years of service and currently has almost 1,100 hours on it. Staff has found that the contract price submitted by Empire Machinery through Omnia Partners satisfies all legal requirements of the bidding process. And the City of Safford Fleet Division budgeted $118,000 for the purchase of a steel wheel roller. Therefore, staff is recommending that the mayor and city council authorize the City of Safford Fleet Division to purchase a CAT CB 4.4 vibratory utility compactor from Empire Machinery at the Omnia contract price of $102,701.93 plus any applicable tax and fees. The old machine would be auctioned using our public surplus website. Any questions you may have? on
Sir, I'm just curious, when you're patching roads, the masket that you lay down, do you have to, and I know you don't need that large a roller, but do you have to roll that or does it just settle?
That mastic is a self-leveling product. It has a little bit of aggregate in it, but it's mostly liquid and it's self-leveling. We don't have to roll that. It's the vibratory rollers when we're actually laying asphalt.
Asphalt on asphalt. So the masking, you don't need that equipment.
Nope, that mastic machine has been a great purchase. We bought that and it just spreads out. It's self-leveling. It's a pretty neat product.
Behind the courthouse seems to still be holding up.
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
Just the machine that did the little section on 20th Avenue?
The old machine is the one that did 20th Avenue, so that's one of the problems we've been.
Get rid of it.
We've been, and by the way, I've actually got a couple of quotes to get that milled out and paved back, and it'll probably be this fall when I get somebody in there to take the street out there and fix that, so.
Thank you, Luke. Anybody else?
Councilman Arbizo, do you want to make the motion on that since you brought it up? I make the motion, we approve the street vibrating roller purchase.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the street vibratory roller purchase. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Thank you. Thank you. And we'll move on to item number 8. The first is resolution R 24-030. It's primary election canvas of vote.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is a request to approve Resolution R 24-030, the canvass of the primary election results, which formally canvasses the results of the primary election that was held on July 30th, 2024. The resolution will also call for a runoff in the general election to fill the final open seat on the City Council, as no candidate received a majority of votes for that position in the primary election. The background is the Graham County Elections Department conducted our primary elections on July 30th, 2024. The participation of the City of Safford in the primary election was part of the regular electoral process aimed to fill the seat of mayor and 3 council seats for the upcoming term. The results of the primary election have been reviewed and canvassed by the Graham County Board of Supervisors and the Graham County Elections Director, Hannah Duderstadt, and require the formal canvass by the City of Safford Council. The analysis on this is after receiving the vote tabulation from Graham County per Arizona Revised Statute Section 9-821.01, determining the majority of votes cast requires the following calculation. You add the total number of votes cast for all candidates for an office, divide that sum by the number of seats to be filled at the election, and divide the result of that calculation by 2 and rounding the number to the highest whole number. In our case, for the majority vote calculation 2024 primary election, we had a total votes cast of 4,484, We take that number and divide it by 3, which is the number of council seats that needed to be filled. We get a total of 1,494. We then divide that number by 2 and round to the highest number, so that would put us at 748 was the majority of vote that needed to be received. The primary election results is the total registered voters in Graham County is 19,527. Total ballots cast was 6,934, giving us a rate of return of 35.51%. The final results for mayor was Richard Ortega receiving 1,046 votes and Maria Couts receiving 786 votes, giving Richard Ortega to receive the majority of votes and is being declared mayor-elect. For city council, we had Brad Hemphill receive 1,064 votes, Dusty Bratner received 945 votes, Alma Flores received 717 votes, Luke Chavez received 599 votes, Corina Pino Reyes received 580 votes, Brenda Chacon received 575 votes. The results of these votes is Brad Hemphill and Dusty Bratner received the highest votes and are declared council members-elect, and they will be seated on the first meeting of December 9th, 2024 of the Safford City Council. However, no candidate received a majority of votes for the final open seat of the City Council. That is now where we go to the runoff in the general election, which will be held on November 5th, 2024, to fill this position. Based on the majority vote calculation, it has been determined that the council member candidates, Alma Flores and Luke Chavez, received the highest number of votes, but less than the majority, and will advance to the general election for the remaining open council seat. Staff recommends that the City Council adopt Resolution R24-030 to complete the canvass of votes for the primary election held on July 30th, 2024, that we declare Richard Ortega as the elected mayor, declare Brad Hemphill and Dusty Bratner as elected council members, and advance the general election on November 5th, 2024, with the 2 council member candidates, Alma Flores and Luke Chavez. And for that, I stand for any questions.
Make the motion, we approve resolution R24-030, primary election canvass of votes.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve resolution R24-030. I just want to make one little comment. Sure would be a great feeling for everybody if we had more participation in our elections. That's all I just wanted to add. Okay. We had a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
This passes Resolution R24-030, a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of City of Safford, Graham County, Arizona, canvassing the primary election held on July 30th, 2024. Thank you.
We'll move on to number 2, resolution R24-031, airport rates and fee structure.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is a request from Mayor and Council to approve resolution number R24-031, a resolution adopting the revised Safford Regional Airport rate and fee schedule. The strategic goals for this resolution are growth and development and financial management. Brief background, the current airport rate and fee schedule was last updated in 2022, and the adopted rates are still in line with the market. However, as the airport continues to grow and looks to attract new aviation businesses, rates and charges for other uses such as aircraft storage, commercial hangar rentals, and landing fees are necessary. Staff brought the proposed rate and fee schedule to Council on July 8th, 2024 as a work session item. The proposed rate and fee schedule has been advertised for 60 days as required under Arizona law. The proposed update to the rate and fee schedule represents additions of new fees in order to allow for economic development at the airport in new, currently underutilized areas. The addition of these fees will allow the airport manager to pursue the addition of new companies at the airport, generating additional revenue and adding valuable jobs to our region. Staff is recommending approval of the resolution. With that, I will stand for questions.
Questions?
You said that, but you were talking about 22, that they were within market standards. These are what you're talking about now, still within market standards?
So Mayor Ortega, Vice Mayor Lopez, yeah, so the current rates that we have in the existing rate and fee schedule are in line. However, these are new rates because we're exploring areas that we currently do not have businesses that fill those, such as aircraft storage, some of those commercial hangar rentals. We don't have set fees for those, so we need those fees in order to be able to go out and attract some of those new companies.
We're making good progress out there. You and the managers know more about it than me. I just don't want to scare nobody off.
No, I believe that these rates are actually extremely attractive. They just fill an area that we currently don't have a rate for. So this allows us to actually go out to those companies and have a set rate so that they know what they're doing business with the city
And
of
they're annually.
So some of them are monthly. It depends on the individual fee. For example, aircraft storage is charged by the weight of the aircraft, and it's charged on a monthly basis.
But you're not gonna change your mind monthly. You're gonna change it just annually?
So the rates will stay the same until council changes them. It's just based on, for example, if a company brings an aircraft into store, it's calculated based on the published weight of that aircraft that the FAA determines, and then we just charge them monthly whenever the aircraft is on the airport.
So you'll be flexible. Okay.
Yep, exactly.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mayor.
Just a comment, what's exciting to me is how attractive the airport's becoming. You know, the fees that's just housekeeping stuff. So it continues to be one of the most interesting and exciting bits of progress that we've had. So I too appreciate you, Cameron, and John, everybody who's put the hard work in to get us here.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mayor Ortega and Councilmember Hempel. It's been a lot of work, but obviously we wouldn't be able to do it, obviously, without, of course, your support and approval, and that's made all of this a lot easier. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Second?
We have a motion to approve resolution R 24-031. All in favor? Opposed? Carries.
This approves resolution number R 24-031, a resolution of the mayor and city council of City of Safford, Arizona, revising fees and charges at the Safford Regional Airport.
Thank you. Okay, number 9, we'll close the regular meeting and reconvene into a council work session. No motions needed.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Just want to remind us this is a work session, so if you have any time or any questions, just ask me in the middle. But I'll go ahead and get started on this. We're seeking direction from Mayor and Council regarding the application submitted to the city's disbursement of funds to charitable and nonprofit organizations. The strategic goals for this one are intergovernmental cooperation, business relations, and development. A little bit of background on this is that during the fiscal year 24 budget process, the mayor and city council discussed the opportunity for nonprofit and charitable organizations to apply for city funds. Staff brought the idea of creating an application process for these entities. The mayor and city council approved the budget to budget $50,000 in fiscal year 2024 for nonprofit and charitable organizations to solicit through an application process City of Safford donations. City Council had previously been donating money to the various organizations, including the Arizona Community Foundation, the Safe House, Lions Club, Eastern Arizona Hispanic Heritage Corporation, and then also included in last year's council donation application process, the City Council donated money to SECUS, the Women's Club of Safford, Graham County Substance Abuse Coalition, St. Vincent de Paul, St. Rosa of Lima, Safford Conference, Gila Valley Arts Council, and then also the Gila Valley Boys and Girls Club. Safford Downtown Association was outside of that, but also a donation through council's budget. And then the Gila Watershed Partnership was through the Water Fund as a donation. Council had decided to grandfather these organizations into the program in fiscal year 2024. During the fiscal year 2025 budget process, the mayor and city council approved to continue the program and budget $100,000 for the program, with previously grandfathered organizations now having to apply to receive donation. Staff advertised and opened the submission window for 2 months, July 1st through August 31st, and staff has collected and organized the submitted applications, and I want to thank our city clerk for putting together the binder that you guys have in front of you tonight. Again, staff received 20 applications during the submission window. The 20 applications were reviewed for completeness and compiled into a table. The 20 applicants are listed in the attached table. So you'll have in front of you a table that lists out the different organizations and then also the amount that they're requesting, a little bit of information about the organization. And then there's also if they received any funding in the prior year, and then how much that funding was. And what I'm gonna do, so I'll just walk you through kind of the process that we'll go through tonight with this. I'm gonna pull up a spreadsheet. That way you guys have the opportunity to look at who's applied for it. And as you guys kind of throw around ideas on who you're choosing to give donation to, we can put numbers in there to total it up. But what I wanna do first is I wanna talk through what I have written down for these applicants. I went through and looked at the different applicants, how much they received in the prior year, how much they are requesting for this year, and then what they plan on doing with the money that they receive. If anytime you have a question regarding the organization, I can try to give more details on what they're requesting or how much they received, et cetera. But I'm just gonna go through each of the applications, or applicants rather. So first we have the Mount Graham Safe House, and then these should be in order in your book.
Sorry, Matthew. Mayor and council, I did want to make a note for the
Yes.
record. The council communication form does state there was 20 applications received. This morning, the city clerk's office received another email from another applicant. They submitted on time before the closing of the 31st. It had just been swept into the junk mail. And so our administrative assistant did find that email this morning, so it's been added, so it puts it at 21 applications.
Thank you. I did fail to mention that. There was a third, 21st one that was added. That it did meet the deadline, so it is also included in your packet. But these will go in order as I list them off, and I do have that on here as well. First, I have the Mount Graham Safe House.
Can we discuss it as you go one at a time, or?
Yeah, of course. You can ask questions as I go through them one at a time.
then
I
it-
can kind of give you my brief synopsis of each of them, or I can give you my synopsis of that one, and you can discuss how you guys feel about that applicant.
Okay,
specifically.
Mayor, since it's kind of, there's 21 of them, I mean, originally the intent was to have him go down the list and read a brief summary. We don't have to do that. If there's a process that the council would like to pursue that you're comfortable with, then by all means do that. The idea was to have him go down, give a brief kind of synopsis, which each one was, and then go from there. We don't have to do that. You guys can just start.
But then we'd have to start all over.
Yep, basically. But
So how does the council feel? I personally would think like on the safe house, they're requesting $20,000. Last year, they received $7,000. I made a note of what I think it should be this year. You know, does that make any sense doing it that way, or one by one, or any other suggestions?
That's fine. I don't mind hearing the brief summary and then, as opposed to going down the whole list and then going back up to the top. Is that what you're?
Yeah, that's.
it's really up to
fine.
you guys. There's a lot of information here, so we're trying to figure out a way to best summarize it. So not only do you get to hear it, but then it's for public consumption. Everybody can hear it as well in terms of the recording.
Why don't we just complete one at a time all the way, move on?
Does that make sense? Or it's up to you.
Yeah, it's up to the,
Work session, we're gonna talk about it again.
what's the pleasure of the council?
Can I ask a question before you get too deep into it?
Yes, sir.
What's the, I saw it. 265,000 is the request, and we have 100,000 to work with,
Yes, sir.
so.
And that's pretty typical for a process like this. Again, this is where you kind of assess the value as you see it, basically.
So first I have the Mount Graham Safe House, listed number 1 in your binder. Last year they received $7,000. This year they are requesting $20,000. And in their transmittal letter, they say that the funding request would go to services provided. So it was it would be just an operating service.
Okay, okay, then I'll put a dollar figure out that I put down. They're requesting 20,000, they received 7,000, I put down 10,000. What I put down.
Mayor, I did the same thing, and not to jump ahead, but I did it with 5 of the 6, not the Arts Council, but the other 5 of the 6 that we previously funded. Actually, let me just say the first 4, because we funded all of them 5 to 7,000. They all asked for 15 to 20, and I put them all at 10. It just made my numbers work better.
And I put all my numbers at 10, except on the Graham County.
CCAS number 2 requested, or they received 5,000 last year through our process. They're requesting $14,912.62 for fiscal year '25. Clearly, this is a very specific request, and this would be to fund a commercial grade stove and a flooring project for their building that they have. Any questions on that one?
I just have to mention something. I am the president of CCAS, and the funding would be greatly appreciated because there's a lot of work that needs to be done in our local area here to serve our elderly, and I feel that's a very important program that needs to be taken care of. So we can meet it halfway at least.
If there's no other discussion on CCAS, the Downtown Association is the next one. They received $5,000 last year. That was outside of our application for donation. That was something that had been grandfathered in. This year they're requesting $20,000, and in their transmittal letter they state that the funding would be for the facade grant program, and then for downtown events. And specifically, I believe it's $15,000 they had earmarked for the grant program, and then $5,000 for the events out of that $20,000.
Again, I had 10.
Mr. Mayor, this is Bill Sims.
Okay, Bill?
I want to make sure you're allowed to vote even though you might be a board member for a nonprofit if you're non-salaried. And so there's no conflict at all as long as, and I think it was very a good idea for someone to say he was a board member, but if he or she is not compensated, there's no conflict and they can participate.
Thank you.
I'll continue on then. The Graham County Substance Abuse Coalition. Last year, they did apply through our donation application process. They received $5,000 at council's direction. This year, they're requesting $20,000. And in their transmittal letter, they stated that it would be to fund a youth podcast equipment, and then non-medical transportation services program that they are currently already do. The youth podcast equipment would be a new program that they are trying to provide.
And then based on discussions that we had, obviously, we've got a podcast for the library, and we just started our own. So I spoke with some of our IT staff today, and they said that, you know, for setting up a good podcast, they could do it for 5,000, actually less than that. So if you did 10, you could give 5 to the podcast and 5 for the transportation, still be at 10. And I know we'd be more than happy to provide any expertise they need in picking the equipment. But I think that based on my conversations with IT staff, that would get them where they want to be.
And you're saying that we should do 10,000 is what you're saying?
Yeah, so 5 for the podcast equipment should get them that, and then 5 for the transportation, which is what they requested on transportation. Okay.
Do you think 10 on that one then for now?
Fine with me.
Next, the Gila Valley Arts Council. Last year, they applied and received $4,745 through the application process. This year, they're requesting $6,000. In their transmittal letter, they stated that the funding would be for contracted services for their performance season. They saw an increase in prices to contract groups to come in and perform, and this would be to cover part of that increase in pricing.
I put down 5,000, but I'm willing to go to 6. Depends on everybody.
I was hoping they'd get the 6. Last year, we did help them purchase an upgraded microphone system to help what they do. They do bring in some unique acts and value other things that other aren't seen. Really nice stuff.
I believe as well on the Arts Council that they do provide shows for the schools at low cost. If I don't if any cost at all, they provide the shows prior to that actual night for the students.
Yes, I was leaning to give them what they requested.
I'll go along with you after hearing you.
That's what that's one I circled as well at the amount. Most of the lower ones that are local, I did that as well, but that's a good one.
And kind of before we keep going too far, those that got last year, I was thinking of giving them pretty much the same what they got because we have some coming up that I'm considering like one-time funding, like the search and rescue who's building their brand new building. They could use a little extra this year to get some of them things off. So that's the way I approached it in my mind as we go forward. One-time funding, not annually.
I'm glad you said one time.
Yeah, one-time funding's coming up.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. And in some of my comments here, I wrote exactly what that, if it was an ongoing operational cost for them, or if they were one-time projects on a lot of these. So I'll make that more clear in some of these. I'll use the word one-time.
As a point of order, technically, they're all one-time funding.
That's right. Every year we have to be.
Right, and so the idea behind having the list now is that you kind of reassess based on, because there may be new applicants, some may drop out, dollar amounts may change. But technically, they're all, there's nothing that says because you've given in one year, you need to give in another. Now, it may be programs that we supported for a while for particular reasons, so they end up being multi-year fundings, but nothing technically is anything but one time.
Next, we have the Eastern Arizona Hispanic Heritage Corporation. Last year, they were grandfathered in and received $2,700. This year, they're requesting $20,000. The funding would be for scholarships money through their program and then also to support their events.
What you smiling about?
I was looking at Councilman Andazola.
Smiling at the elephant.
So my understanding has been there's been some conversation, and again, I tried to clarify today, but I think they're looking for funding at the previous year's level. So instead of the 20,000, they're looking for 2,700 again, which basically funds one scholarship essentially. I think that's the gist of it. So just an FYI, they communicated that, I believe, a day or two ago, so just FYI, they reduced their request. I guess they said it was actually a typo.
I reduced it myself. I put down 3,000.
What I wrote down. And I thought maybe a double too, but if that's the need,
Well, again,
yeah.
the feedback we got was actually a little bit different than that, even a little lower, but I think that at least funding it at the level from last year would be something that would be agreeable.
3,000 would do it? Yeah. That's acceptable. That's where I'm at.
I have the Safford High School Scholarship Educational Foundation, Inc. So now we are into organizations that have not received funding from the city in previous years. They are requesting $5,000. Their funding would go to support alumni reunions and events that they host.
I put down 2,500.
They alumni reunions and requests. Again, I'm staying with the scholarship. Now, this is kind of strange. I'm surprised we don't already have scholarships given from the city of Safford and the council, from the citizens of Safford going to the Safford school system. Why we don't have one established already, I just don't understand that. So I'm hoping we can take this apart from this and try to establish in the budget a scholarship program that comes from the city of Safford for the Safford school system. I know we've done our budget already and it not come to here. We should support our own school with scholarship from the city of Safford. And then to suggest something else, to kind of make it like, and you got to help me with the math, not be more than 4,000 a year, for example. We give it to one student this year, $1,000. No matter what school they go to, no matter what grade point average they have, whether they go to a technical school, whatever they go to, but not only the first year, but that 1,000 follows them for 4 years. The next year we give two people, one gets 1,000, the new person gets another 1,000, follows them with it, so that when we end up with 4, it's $4,000. And then when the senior leaves, we have that 1,000 back and we have 4 active people. Because we give monies to people that go to school 1 year, the second year, they don't have money. So if we give them 1,000 every year for 4
Councilman
years,
Lopez, would you be in agreement if that was an idea? Would you be in agreement to doing at least a semester so that way it covers 2 semesters of the fee? Like, for example, it would cover a full tuition instead of just doing 1,000 for that individual. Am I right, Mr. Bejarano, on explaining that with how the way that it's worked out
so does
with
it,
the colleges whenever they give scholarships and all that, they try to do it for the semester. Yes, and that would take care of the student, at least for them to have money to back up to fall on.
so does that double what I'm saying?
Yeah, that would.
So that's up to the rest of you. But it's like I kind of felt a little shame that we didn't have something like this already established. So the numbers, hopefully it will follow them for 4 years or 2 years. And the logistics, you guys would help straighten out for me. But that's my suggestion.
Mr. Empel, what do you think about that? I think
That's a good idea. It probably should just be something agenda item going forward, probably,
Yeah.
right?
because I would hate to see a student go through just get half partial of the money and then
Right.
they don't have the, you know what I mean?
Right.
Well, if you're looking at what sounds like a different mechanism, right?
Yeah.
That it wouldn't be part of the donation program at all. It
Be
would
our
be
own
something
thing,
we
right.
just do as an activity, and you could easily make that adjustment in the current year budget, given the amount of money you're talking about without much
Coming out
fanfare.
of your budget.
So,
I think he's pointing at the mayor.
It's just an idea. So I don't know how y'all feel about it. But yeah, money's follow them all 4 years or 2 years. and go from there.
Then we'd have to have a process to make sure that they're,
Following through with what they got.
following through.
Yes.
I think, yeah, it's something
Between
we
B
can
and
talk
the-
about later, definitely.
That would be
But
very
it
good.
don't, it don't have to be a 4.0 student either.
As long as it's 2.5, that's all I care about.
I believe also that this foundation already does provide scholarships as well.
That's-
So possibly having a conversation with this group to partner with them in the future could be something that we do. And if that's something that, if we grant a request this year for the reunions, maybe we can have conversation with them to continue funding them, but to have it more as a opportunity to fund students to get scholarships.
The reunions are on their own.
Yeah.
Does that mean we're gonna pursue this as well? So this would still be on the table, right, as a possible, because this is for a reunion type activity, so what we're talking about would not fund that.
Right.
So would that mean that this is still, I mean, it's for you guys to decide if it's still on the table for this purpose?
We don't require any earmarking, so to speak, though, of the funds, do we?
Earmarking.
Well, where they have to show that, in other words, an organization like this may say that's what it's designated for, but if that's saving them that money from their general fund and it helps.
Well,
to me,
money's fungible, right? So
Right. That's
yeah.
how I view
So,
it.
yeah, yes.
So I had them down at the 5,000 they asked for, but that's just my number.
You're saying that we do have a scholarship program from the city of Safford?
No, I was not saying that. What I was saying is that this Stafford High School Scholarship Education Foundation already provides scholarships to Stafford students. This, what they're requesting the funding for, though, was not for scholarships. It was for reunions that the foundation puts on. I do believe that the foundation already does give scholarships to Stafford students.
Oh, okay, then
I think it says that in their transmittal letters, that's one of the services they already provide.
they were,
But if somebody knows more about the foundation, I only know what I read in the transmittal letter.
so the 5,000 would basically be for party time.
Okay, so many words you got it right.
Yeah, but
I'm not speaking from I really don't know, but I'm around some of these people and I'm pretty sure they give over 100 scholarships every year to Stafford students, and they're all funded at $10,000 for a scholarship, and then they take the interest off of that and spin a scholarship off every year off of whatever you put into your, like if Safford wanted to put up $10,000, they would spin off $1,000 every year for us. This, what they're asking for is to put on a reunion, which if I'm not mistaken, the last time they did was 2015 was the 100-year reunion of the school. Whether we fund it how they want it, or I mean, it's probably irrelevant, but they are two totally separate asks. I mean, they're not asking for us to fund a scholarship, because I'm pretty sure that would be at least at $10,000.
Correct. And that was my thought as well. This is a separate ask from giving money for a scholarship. This is for the reunion. The point I was making was that this organization does fund scholarships. So kind of to piggyback off of your idea, just kind of plant that seed for that idea.
Yeah, because we do not provide a scholarship.
Correct.
So
But we could through this organization, I believe.
So this discussion would be this application for this purpose, which is the reunion.
to me, it'd be no.
With the vice mayor, with the mayor.
So 5,000?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Or 5.
I gave my number. What'd you say, Luke? I didn't hear you.
5. I wanted to give him 5. I'm part of the alumni.
Councilman Hemphill, where were you at?
My original number was the 5 they were asking for. But I mean, it's all negotiable, but that's what I had down. If we have some,
Direction would be helpful, because we have to get an idea of what to bring back.
I'm with the mayor. So,
We got 2 for 5 and 2 for 0. Okay, that leaves 2 more. 5, that's 3. We're not voting, we're just getting input. You have no input? All right.
I just think there's so many other ways we help out.
What if we did it at a lower amount? What if we did 2,500?
Originally, I had 25 until, hearing. I crossed out the 25 and went to 0. But I did have 25 first.
well, let's put something down and then maybe we come back when we see our total.
What if we did at least 25 as a starting point? Would that be all right?
That's what I had.
So let's do
And I went down
25 for now, and then we can come back to it.
Okay.
Next up, I have the Safford Bulldog Booster Club. They are requesting $20,000 in fiscal year '25, or for this fiscal year. The funding is for an outdoor jumbotron.
This is one I didn't write anything down for because I didn't have,
I'm there.
I'm at everybody else's mercy on this one. I don't know.
I'm with you. I had nothing down there.
I mean, I didn't put 0. I didn't put anything.
I'm with you guys.
We can't all be it. We don't know what we're doing. That's what I'm saying. I didn't put 0 down. I don't know what I'm doing on this one down.
And at some point, we have to make choices, right? You have a certain amount, and you have to prioritize accordingly. So
Did anybody? Yeah.
This would be a one-time deal too. What I wrote down, one.
Mayor Ortega, if you would like to allow Ms. Bryce to
Please.
speak to the council, we are in a work session, so she could, if she wanted to.
You-
Hi, Mayor and Council. My name is Jennifer Bryce. I'm the president this year of the Bulldog Booster Club. I'm taking it over pretty much from scratch. Everybody that was on it last year kind of withered away because they had seniors that graduated. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to give back to the sponsors that support this. So our money comes from local businesses. We go out and we request funds from all over the city. We have businesses, even Thatcher, Pima, that will all give us donations, and that helps support our school athletics. So what we're trying to do is, it's a jumbotron, but we're wanting to do something on a large scale to give back to our businesses, advertise those businesses at a larger scale for them, get people to shop local, let them know that we appreciate what they do for our school and our athletics. Having these opportunities for these kids is huge. A lot of kids go far with sports just because they're not academically 100%. Sometimes having that athletic helps them get to the next step to be able to do those things. So what we're trying to do is just give back to those sponsors. It'll be somewhere very, it would be placed out at the football field. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to see our new stadium. We've got brand new turf down. We've got new system, scoreboard, new audio system, everything. So on top of us being able to provide for our businesses, what this jumbotron would do was, we have a couple classes at the high school that teach audio-visual stuff. So they put together they have their own YouTube channel with the Safford Bulldog News Network, and they get to put these things together. They put these slides together that give back to our businesses, that show their support, so we can try to give that back to our businesses. So that's why we want to put this up there. So it's not so much of a jumbotron like you see at football games where they zoom in on the players and things like that. It's going to be more of an outdoor billboard, electronic billboard that's meant for outdoor weather that we can put slides up there with local businesses. We can advertise events for the city of Safford for whatever's going on in town. We can put that up there and it'll be seen during all outdoor events during football games, track events, soccer games, everything that we have. We already have a smaller scale version inside our gym, so this would be something that we can put outside to help kind of do that.
Ms. Bryce? Is it a permanent fixture?
Yes, it would be a permanent fixture. The high school already has a little bit of money left over from the grant they received to update the audio visuals and everything, and so they would be able to put some of that money towards it. So we're hoping that with what they have left over, and if we can receive the 20,000 we're requesting, we'd be able to fund that and get it built, and it would be a permanent structure. And in my transmittal letter, I mentioned that we would make the city of Safford a lifetime sponsor, and we'd be willing to put any information they want on that board, and also put that the board on the board itself that it was funded by the city of Safford council and their grant funding program.
Is there any way to make that portable or no?
No.
I'm kind of trying to visualize what this.
So do you have the letter? No, you don't. I want to say we have the option of either doing an 18-foot by 6-foot billboard, or maybe it's 16 by 6. Sorry, I'm nervous. I don't remember the numbers exactly. But we were talking, with the same amount of money, we can do either 2 6-foot by 8-foots or something, 4 by 8-foots, and then a 16 by 6-foot. Yeah, that was just the picture that we had, that was given to us by where we got the quote from.
How much does that cost?
They're selling it to us, I believe. So what it is that the Way Church purchased it, and they don't have anywhere to put it, so they're going to sell it to us for $8,000 less than what they paid for it. So we would be able to get it from them for, I believe it was $31,000.
Thank you.
Thank you.
$51,500.
Why don't we come back to this item?
Okay. I have it marked to come back to. The next one on our list is Our Neighbors Farm and Pantry. They're requesting $2,000. The funding would go for operating services.
I put down the 2 total.
I did as well. They do a great job for the community.
Anybody else? Okay, well, we agreed. Arnold? 2. Yeah. Wow. Okay. We'll go to number 9 then.
Next up, I have the Northern Arizona Technology and Business Incubator, also doing business as Moonshot. They are requesting $10,000, and the funding would go for a pop-up stitch lab. And if you have any more questions on the stitch lab, I believe in the transmittal letter, they lay out pretty clearly what a stitch lab is. I didn't write down all of what the stitch lab is, but I believe it's like a pop-up area where they would provide classes for people to learn how to do sewing or embroidery or large commercial grade sewing, I believe is what they wrote in there.
Yeah, and it's class-based. So if you look at deliverables, it says 2 case offerings for 4 different courses, assistance with job placement. Graduates are eligible to participate in entrepreneurial training, and then continued interest they'll explore a permanent stitch lab in the county. So this doesn't really fund the stitch lab. It funds training for this type of skill set is basically what they're saying.
I didn't put anything down.
And I just got a question. Does this sponsor or help anybody in Stafford?
Potentially, it would.
It would do the lab in Safford, it said.
It would do the lab?
They do, I think.
The idea from what I got from the transmittal letter is that they would provide this service in Safford.
Right.
So they're looking at up to 56 Stafford residents will participate in one or more of the training.
And I don't believe they currently provide this service.
It was really interesting to me, but it's hard with that budget
Yeah.
for me too, with their $1.3 million annual budget. So that, it wasn't easy to cross anybody off, but that made it easier. And we can't fund everybody.
With you there. Anybody else comment?
All right. So I think let's put 0 in that and we can come back to it for now.
The next one I have on the list is Hustle Kindness. They're requesting $10,000. This is to fund the veterinary clinic. From what I got from the transmittal letter, it would be to provide veterinary services. It was unclear to me whether or not these services were already provided or if these were new services based on the transmittal letter, though.
I took it as new services myself. That's the way I took it. I didn't put anything down for that.
And this one, it almost sounds like partial funding because based on the verbiage, the project includes the establishment of a fully equipped veterinary clinic staffed with skilled professionals to provide essential services such as routine checkups, vaccinations, emergency care, and spay and neuter programs. So I'm assuming you can't do that on 10,000, so I'm assuming it's partial funding for that purpose.
I didn't put anything down. I don't know where anybody else is.
All right.
Next up, I have the Graham County Search and Rescue. They're requesting $20,000, and the $20,000 would go to funding for the renovation of their kitchen and floors for the squad house. Their old squad house, I believe it says.
Their old one or the new one they're working on?
The old one,
Yeah, it's a renovation.
a renovation to the old one.
It's all connected. Connected to the new
It is connected, according to the transmittal letter.
all together.
That's what
I put down 5,000 myself.
I was at least hoping you'd come off with, but I'll take more. The one time, one of those I explained is a one time. They're building, they're expanding, they're all over the county. They're very important.
I have no problem going on,
I wrote down 10.
but I'd have no problem.
I agree.
10, I have no problem with it.
Graham County Junior Live Auction Committee. They're requesting $9,842. This funding would be for a sound system for the county fair for their auction events. And also, I believe they attached with their transmittal letter a quote for the sound system.
I put nothing.
Zero.
Good. Anybody else?
That's what I initially had down. Kind of a question mark on it. I do appreciate that this was a specific one with a specific quote even, kind of like the Arts Council did for us the last time. So we,
Interesting request for the county.
definitely.
That's why I put 0.
Yeah, I did too, initially.
I'll put 0. Any other comments on that one? Next, I have the Gila Valley VFW Post 10385. They're requesting $18,500. The funding would be to replace 2 air conditioning units at their post.
I'm an old veteran, but I put down 0.
I put down 10 to 5 because the VFW was going under, and the soldiers that are there right now heard about this, got in there and worked on that building, and they're Iraqi returned combat veterans, because these are foreign war veterans. There's not a big bunch of them. They're trying to get off. They're trying to get this reestablished, and I feel they could use this to go forward. They've done a lot of work in that building already.
Vice Mayor Lopez, what's the percentage of people that are from Stafford?
They're mainly from Tri-County. The veterans are from all over, not just necessarily in Safford. If they were just in Safford, there probably wouldn't be enough of them. But they're, yeah, I'm not going to war with just Safford people.
I put down 10.
I appreciate that.
I'll add that I'm pro air conditioning.
Yes. It's a one-time, and 5 if we're ending up giving some to the Jumbotron too, because we're running out of money.
Where are we at, Matt?
Prior to this, we were at 63,500.
Okay, yeah, the 10,000's easy. And it's a one-time deal. They'd appreciate it. They get there. This group only likes to hang around with themselves. Nobody else understands their stories. And their family support group go in there, and they have their own little building that they do lots of things for the public. If you did read the paperwork, blood drives and things like that, and they can only grow with a good building and support.
I'll say one thing, they do keep their yard clean.
Yes, inside's been really done. We had a federal candidate come a month ago, and we held a meeting there, and it was very well hosted by them, and they're a small group, and they're growing.
Should we go 10?
I can go with anything. I put down 0 mainly because I just felt they, the members. Of course, I was a member, but I quit paying my dues. I quit paying my dues because they were so inactive. They are trying to get back.
They are getting back.
So I'll go with whatever you guys say.
I say 10. I'm hoping 10. You're no war veteran.
Vietnam veteran, yeah.
Combat proven.
What about 8?
Nope.
Anything, guys. Come on. Give
Oh,
us
yeah, 8's fine with me.
Fine with me then. Let's do it.
So just kind of a back of the napkin calculation that I just did. I think we have around 67,000 left that isn't asked for at this point, and we're at 71,500 for what council has roughly decided on. So just keeping that in mind.
Oh, we had 100,000 total.
100,000 total?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So you got 29 left, 28 and change.
That's what we have left out of the 100,000. But with the requests, so what Gila Valley Samaritan Home through Big Brothers Big Sisters of Southern Arizona, they're 20,000. The request that they're asking for this year, it's around 67,000.
Yeah, but then what we're gonna give them is some.
Right. But just kind of for your knowledge to know what is upcoming on the
I
what's left.
understood exactly what you said, Matthew, if it's any consolation.
Yeah.
Lost me.
I don't have favorites up here.
All right, so we're on to Gila Valley Samaritan Home.
Yes, around Gila Valley Samaritan Home. Requesting 20,000 for fiscal year 25. The funding would be for staffing and operational expenses.
I put down 15,000.
I put down 10.
I had a question on, I thought that this was a group funding operation, that the whole valley was helping with this.
Only as far as utilities. We have an IGA with Pima and Thatcher to help pay utilities. And most of the Samaritan Homes funding comes from grants, which obviously are one-time.
Okay.
So anything we can provide operationally would be helpful. But yeah,
addition,
the only thing we have is an IGA on utilities.
How much did you say, Mayor?
Because I did think they were on good footing.
Yes. I think they are, but I think that people get a little overly enthusiastic on the grants because you don't know if you're gonna get them again.
Yes.
Where did we end up?
We're still talking. I said 15, and I heard it's going for 18.
18.5.
You an auctioneer?
Mike took
Can I get
my
it?
10
Can I get it?
and the mayor's 15 and said 18.5. He put those two together and came up with 18.5. He just said that, literally said that.
I'll tell you, this is one organization that has had more success than we had hoped, and so I think sustaining them is definitely a positive thing, but.
I'm at 10 right now, and we can add to it if we have money left.
And with you, Mr. McCoy?
So can we do that and see where we end up, gentlemen? Do 10?
And really, with what's left, I'm only looking at Angel's Closet.
Which one's that one?
Angel's Closet Clothing Bank.
I'm with you there.
I put
And
an
I-
asterisk
and I
by
have
it.
2 more after that.
We can come back to that one along with the other ones that I put asterisks by. Next up, we have the Gila Valley Salt Shakers.
Nope.
This one, they're requesting $250 to $5,000. I put $5,000 as their on the list because I just put the maximum ask. But again, in their application, they did say $250 to $5,000. It would be for funding for operational programs. The 2 programs that they listed out in their letter would be to provide food and clothing distribution services.
I didn't put anything down.
I like the program. I did put an amount down. I didn't see the 250 to 5,000, so I'd be willing to do even a small amount for them if anybody else is.
Your small amount.
Even 1,000. But it doesn't have to be.
Anybody else?
I'm with you, Brad. So far.
For now.
For now.
What is the difference in what they do and what the Angel's Closet does?
They didn't say Angel's Closet in their transmittal letter. They did say specifically that they do provide a similar service to our neighbor's farm and pantry. And if you read in their transmittal letter, they say that they provide a service similar, but not in Safford. They do it in the county, Thatcher, Pima, and Solomon, is what they said in their letter. And then they go on to talk about other services that they do provide in Safford.
So Angel's Closet, they, basically what Matthew's saying, plan to extend back to school outreach with winter clothing, giving coats, blankets, and additional school supplies. Second, they plan to expand overall back to school giveaway to include new gear, headphones, things like that, lunch boxes, and then a shoe program. New shoes.
That's the Angel.
Yes.
I had 5,000.
We're on 16 still, right?
Yes, we are still on the Gila Valley Salt Shakers.
L-
They are different than Angel's
Right.
Closet, and I
was just
believe the
describing-
services are different as well.
Luke's idea is not bad.
Do 500
Or
salt shakers.
I have no problem with that.
500 it is.
I get a 6.
No.
Next up, we have the Gila Valley Balloons. They're requesting $12,600 for fiscal year '25. The funding would go towards their New Year's balloon event expenses. In their transmittal letter, they specify propane, insurance, and then there was $500 for something else that I can't remember.
Social media.
Social media.
Advertising.
Advertising.
The largest of those expenses was propane, I believe, at $8,500.
And then 3,600 for insurance, which is kind of what we've been doing. It's something that we're trying to develop in terms of economic development, really activities, tourism, to grow the event.
What did we do for them last year?
I think something very similar. I think didn't we give money 2,500, 4,000? We did 4,000. So if we did 3,600, that would cover the insurance at least.
How is that not on the list of people we did last year?
Because last year we did it through monies that were in the contract with the chamber.
What are we looking at?
3,600 for the insurance cost?
Okay, no problem with that. Is at this time.
Where are we at, Matthew?
85,600 with 4 left. And possibly other ones that we are revisiting. Next, I have the Desert Cat Rescue and Sanctuary of Arizona. They are requesting 75,000, or not 75,000, 7,500. The funding would be for a program with the Gila Valley Samaritan Home. I believe when I read the letter, it said that it would be to provide food for people who utilize the Samaritan Home services that have animals as well. It'd be to provide pet food for the animals. And then they also want to expand their trap, neuter, return program. I think they said since January, they have provided services to 23 Safford residents with this program, which I think is about 1 a week.
Didn't put anything
After Angel's Closet.
Well, let's jump to Angel's Closet, because that, I have a figure down there too. And we can go back, how's that?
If you want.
Okay, so we'll do Angel's Closet next.
Angels Closet Clothing Bank are requesting 12,000. This funding would be to extend their giveaway program that they provide throughout the year to a back to school giveaway, I think is what their main program was that they had listed in there, and then winter clothing.
Yeah, so this is the one I just read that we kind of were going out of order with. So they do clothing, they do a number of items, blankets, backpacks, and also a purchasing of shoes program for purchasing new shoes.
5,000 to begin.
They've been established quite some time. I had 5.
That's what I. 3, 5. 4, 5. Sounds like 5. Now we can go back to what, the cat and rescue?
So did we make a decision on that one?
Yeah.
5?
5, yeah. Angel Closet.
You're at 90?
90,600. Say that again?
Left, 90,
Yes, 9,400.
94 left.
But we do still have some at the top that we need to come back to that we just didn't decide anything on yet.
The Jumbotron.
If we want to continue with the last two, and then we can jump back to those.
You get a Medium-tron?
The American Youth Soccer Organization, Local Region 12A216. They are requesting $6,513.56. This would be to fund the replacement of equipment, 4 soccer nets, I believe, and 4 goals. I think they line out more specifically in their transmittal letter what it would go to.
Where are all those fields located?
The fairgrounds.
Well, somebody. Write a letter to the county.
The letter that comes back says how many Safford kids are playing out there. What will we say?
And we can visit with them and come to some type of agreement. That's what we look for.
that's gonna be an argument that we extend maybe in the future. So we need to be careful. We don't want that argument used in reverse.
Well, they are county residents if they live in Safford.
Right. That's a good point. They're both.
Yeah, but you're talking soccer, I'd rather deal with, girls softball. There's like 400 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's softball, there's a lot more than just soccer going on, so we'd have to make a plan better than what's going on right now and then talk to the county.
Right.
Not shy away from them, like you're saying, I know what you're saying, but let's bring it up for conversation with them.
Right. And we can't speak to anybody that doesn't apply. Little league, softball, whoever else, if they're not making application, then.
Where we at?
I said softball.
Did they ask for 4 of something?
They asked
4 nets, 4 goals.
870, the nets were 874.51. 4 goals were 56.39.
I say we put a fourth of that request in there. They have one.
400.
No, 1/4 of their ask.
15. We're not going to get cents involved here, are we? All right, let's do it.
What are you saying, 1,500?
No. He's not.
Yeah, 4 nets.
$16.28.50.
Yeah, so 4 goals with nets. And then 4 nets, I don't know, without the goal.
Yeah, it'd be 1628.
Out of it. I didn't have anything down. I kind of had a question mark. My point was, let's kind of just temper how we make our argument a little bit.
Does this organization use our soccer fields too? Or
Not that I'm aware of.
For practice, probably not for games. All of their games are out at the fairgrounds. So that it would be to replace, it would be,
somebody's buying nets and things for them to practice on, or are we, those that are down there at El Paso and 14th?
Sure, the city
We
pays
buy
for
those,
the
or are they?
goals in our park.
in ours,
Parks,
yes.
yes. Yeah.
That's what they use for practice.
And one thing you remember too, these requests are coming from the individual organization, not coming from just the organization themselves. That's why I have no problem, saying no to whatever.
The number I have up there is 1/4 of it, by the way.
What is that number?
But 1628, that's 1/4 because they request 4 nets, 4 goals. And so it technically would be funding 1 goal and 1 net.
Everybody.
Nets and the goals for the city park right now. They're using those for practice.
It could be 0 if that's what we want.
I was just putting in there as a placeholder to know what 1/4 was. If it wants to be 0, it can be 0 too.
I'm not afraid to say 0. That's
I didn't feel strongly about that. I just feel like I'm not saying anything because I don't feel strongly about a lot of it. I do feel strongly about our kids being able to have proper equipment to play hard and learn to get exercise that I don't
The last one on our list is the Big Brother, Big Sisters of Southern Arizona. This was the one that has just been added to your packet. They are requesting $5,000, and it would be to fund high school mentorship or mentoring leadership program. They already currently provide a program where high school students go over to Leif Nelson School. It's a mentorship program. The transmittal letter stated that this funding would help expand the program to allow more students to participate.
I put down 3, but I'm willing to go to 5, and whatever, where everybody else is at.
I'll go with you on the 3.
Anybody else, 3,000? 0? Luke?
I'm 0.
0?
I didn't put anything down, and again, it's not that we just got it, it's the budget again. It's a little bit tough for me.
Nothing?
Okay with 0, and I'm okay with a small.
Again, I think that it's a interesting point, because as we go through and we look at all these, obviously, one of the things you want to look at is how does the organization fit your vision for the city, like where you want to go, and what is the overall need? And the idea of the existing budgets, some of these organizations are national and rather large, whereas others are quite local and really cash strapped in many senses. So again, that all kind of plays into that decision-making process.
I'll go with 0.
So where are we at, Matthew, with 0 on that?
So we have 90,600. So we have still 9,400 left. Some of the ones that we wanted to revisit, and I'll go back up to the top.
And then 2,500 for the,
Correct. And then also one point that I didn't make earlier was that we decided to give 2,500 to Feed My Starving Children.
so that should be it.
So technically, we only have 97,500 to left after that $2,500. 97,500.
Is the total
Yes,
with the 25.
with the 25 taken out.
So what's left?
So what's left is
2,500?
6,900.
So once, okay, so we have to go back to what, the Booster Club?
Do we want to start it back at the top of the ones I have asterisks, or you want to work your way from the bottom up?
Doesn't matter.
Bottom up.
Jumbotron,
Bottom up.
From the bottom up.
the Jumbotron,
The Jumbotron is where we want to go first?
the remaining.
You want the remaining to go to the Jumbotron?
I'm with Councilman Lopez.
Other ones that you guys had marked are the Safford High School Scholarship Educational Foundation. We had 2,500 there. We did have an asterisk there because we were questioning
Can we,
that one.
can we put that? I'm for the Jumbotron, but maybe take that 25. I was thinking of taking the 25 from the scholarship fund and put it towards the Jumbotron. Take it away from my alumni reunion party and add that to the Jumbotron with the end with the what's left.
What numbers are they?
We'd be taking 2,500 away from the educational foundation, the Scholarship Educational Foundation.
So that'd be a 0.
Yep, and then
7 will be 0.
Huh?
7 will be 0.
Okay.
that would be 9,400 that would go towards the Jumbotron.
That was number,
7. Jumbotron would be number
so there, how much there?
94.
And then some other ones that we had asterisks by were the Moonshot or Northern Arizona Technology and Business Incubator, we put 0. Are you still wanting to keep it at 0?
And technology and business incubator, like 0 to me.
Zero.
still.
And then there was the next one, which was Hustle Kindness, which is number 11.
What was that one again?
That was providing veterinary services.
How did that compare to Desert Cat Rescue,
How does that compare?
what they're wanting to do?
I believe the Desert Cat Rescue is more of a pickup cat spay neuter. This is what they currently already have. They are looking at having the program with a Samaritan home to provide food for pets that come in there. That's what they're requesting with their additional funding that they would get. The Hustle Kindness said that it would provide veterinary services. It didn't say specifically if it was just spay or neuter. It said veterinary services.
Which one did you just talk about?
Number 11,
The Samaritan, no, okay, no, the Samaritan House?
that was Desert Cat, right?
Okay, because there, one thing it said that kind of makes sense to me too, is that somebody that goes there usually has a pet that is more even closer to them than our average pet, because that's their friend, their buddy, their, you know. So, which number was that?
11.
11?
Are we speaking about the Hustle Kindness? The one-
Okay. So I think we should, they're asking for 10.
We got the cat rescue.
The difference for me, and Matthew, correct me if I've missed any information, is with the Desert Cat, there was some specific services mentioned in partnership with the Safe House, for example, buying food,
The Samaritan home.
the Samaritan Home, which targets a specific population, where with Hustle Kindness, it just sounds like it's the services they provide every day. I would have liked to have seen would that help a low income person get veterinary services from us, something like that. And I didn't see.
All we have is the transmittal letter.
Right.
After that, I can only speculate what it kind of complete the full picture of what is being asked and what is already provided. And for me, that all I took was what
Right.
the transmittal letter gave me.
And that's why I mentioned it, just see if anybody else caught anything different, because that was my only hesitation. Is it just
They did say, affordable.
Again, I don't know if they already provide a service, free veterinary service outside or a low-cost veterinary service for whoever, but if that is the case, it didn't specify in the transmittal letter.
okay?
Where are we at?
Those two? Hustle Kindness and Desert Cat Rescue.
So kindness, anybody have any suggestion there? And then the Desert Rescue, we need to come up with something there.
I believe that's the organization that does work with Samaritan House, no?
So the two that we have left that are blank are Hustle Kindness and Desert Cat Rescue and Sanctuary of Arizona. Those are the two that we haven't made any decision, including actually AYSO is on there as well. For 0 right now, I do have an asterisk by that. If council wants to provide any additional funding right now, they would have to take from something else, because right now they're at the 97,500 with what was considered the rest of it going to the Jumbotron at that point.
I think we should give something to the Desert Cat Rescue and Sanctuary of Arizona. What do we have left?
0.
0?
So if we do decide, if council does decide to give money to the Desert Cat Rescue, it has to come from one of the ones that they've already decided to give funding to.
You know what, I think for this time around, I think we did a pretty good job for our first go around.
Matthew, what's the number? Do you need to add 2,500 to the Safford Booster Club to make that 100,000 on the bottom? Or is it already in there?
So the 2,500, so technically council approved $100,000 in the
Right.
budget. When council decided to give Feed My Starving Children $2,500, that
fault.
number came off. So technically, if I can add a line on here that says Feed My Starving Children, it'd be 2,500, and that brings that total to 100,000. So technically, our total for this list would be 97.5, and then Feeding My Starving Children would bump that to the 100 that we budgeted.
Any comments or?
We could have, well, no, that makes it kind of messy. We have some lingering amounts we could use if we wanted, but.
So can we bring this back
Mhm.
And
as
this
an
is just a
action
work-
item?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a work session.
So we'll bring it back with a total for action, and I think unless there's any significant alterations, we can always still make alterations as we move forward, but I think we got a pretty good start for an action item.
I think so too.
Okay.
Everybody, that's fine with everybody?
So just to recap, with the numbers I have that council's decided on, I'm going to take this as direction to bring back an item with these being the requests in our next council meeting, and then I'll present them to council to have a action item on.
And we can always make little adjustments then, yeah, no problem. Sounds good. Thanks.
Thank you.
And the VFW soldiers help build them soccer fields. Just an added note.
Thank you for that.
Appreciate that. I know that was probably lengthy, but I think that was relatively efficient given the amount of stuff we had, so thank you.
And we'll move on to item number 2, amendment to Title 8 and 17 of the municipal code.
Do we have to come out of work session or anything?
No.
This is a work session as well.
It's still in there, all right.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and Council. This is a request for a work session for ordinance O24-008, an ordinance of the City of Safford, Graham County, Arizona for amendments to Title 8 Health and Safety and 17 Zoning. And a little bit of background on this process. Last year, we did start with our neighborhood officer program that was approved through the council. And there has been some questions about the abatement process, the blight removal process, and you will see a pamphlet that looks like this on the dais for each of you. It is a statement I prepared that goes through the abatement process, the process that we followed with Mr. Sims as our city attorney to create the neighborhood officer program, and the way that we do help citizens through the entire process. So that is for your review, and you can keep it as well in case citizens do have questions. And these changes for tonight's work session include making our code easier to use for builders and developers. And they do include things about signs that don't have facades, blight removal, fences that are falling down. So in a way, this is a continuation of our neighborhood officer program, as well as streamlining our code. So that's why health and safety and zoning are included in this. And then you can feel free to share this abatement program white paper with any citizens who have questions. So the strategic goals for this code update are growth and development and quality of life. City manager convened a development team to review and update our processes. Mr. Henry has presented his updates to the subdivision code previously. Planning staff reviewed the current city code and identified sections of Title 8 and 17 that needed to be updated. The updates have been presented to the Planning and Zoning Commission on June 17th, 2024, and to the local developers at a public meeting on July 18th, 2024. The updates in Title 8 Health and Safety will continue the work begun by the Neighborhood Officer Program to reduce the amount of blight within the city of Safford. The updates in Title 17 will make building easier and more readily understandable for the builders. A complete list of the changes is included in Exhibit A. Some of the changes initiated by the development of the Neighborhood Officer Program and those requested by council are blight, the definition has been added. And you'll notice that in Exhibit A, anything that is added is red and underlined. So that makes it easier for you to read and review. Fencing and wall coverings are covered in those, buildings that are vacant. The next section adds the word blight to our definition already, so that will include egress and ingress. Vacant structures that are not secured against entry shall be deemed unsafe, which keeps people from squatting in the houses or building a fire in the winter inside those structures. Accessory dwelling units will now be allowed in residential zones as long as they meet setback and size requirements for that zone. That comes through the state legislature really trying to remove local zoning authority. This is one proactive step that we can take so that we show we are being proactive and that our zoning does not affect development. Subdivisions and lots constructed before setback requirements were in place may use the average setback of neighboring properties for construction purposes. This was in response to direction from the mayor to reduce the need for variances in older neighborhoods. And then removal of signs. The building instructor or designee is authorized to cause the removal of any sign located in the public right-of-way illegally, or of any abandoned or illegal sign. So we did have the definition of abandoned sign in our code, we just never had any enforcement mechanism. With that, we can go through the packet, or if there are any questions that you had on individual items, we can discuss those as well.
Do we have protection for people squatting in any of our vacant buildings?
Mayor and Vice Mayor, I will refer that question to Mr. Sims and the police chief. At some point, they do need to be evicted, but if you do secure the building against entry, that prevents it from happening in the first place.
They find a way to get past security. So I guess we'll have to find out from the Mr. Sims and the chief.
Yes, Mayor and Vice Mayor, that it enters into civil law, and
Not
so that wouldn't
necessarily
be.
now, but I'm hoping you built protection in for us.
It would, it depends. If they're occupying your property, you can evict them. If they're occupying a private sector's property, the private property owner would bring a trespass action, and they could call the police officers then.
Okay.
But this is currently, what is done here is to address abating nuisances. That's what this is primarily about. If we have a person occupying a building illegal, that's a whole different set of code provisions. And it depends, and if it's your property, you can go in and arrest them for trespass.
Hopefully so. I have no more, Jamie. I mean,
Anybody else have anything?
So again, this would be what is being presented. It doesn't sound like there's any issues, and we would bring this back as an action item as currently configured.
we need some teeth in it. Just it's broad right now, so we're going to face some things coming up. Just an added note, when our CDBG grant, I think that's how it is, and I know Mr. Henry likes it for sidewalks, but we could, and it's probably a year and a half away or two, but you'll see it. We could declare an area a blight area, and then we wouldn't have as many hoops to jump through as far as having a where you have to do a study and low income and all that. It would qualify for that money, make it easier for us to use it for blight areas. So that's on the horizon in a year and a half, two.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, then we'll close the work session and reconvene into the regular council meeting. We'll go on to item number 12, report on operational items. Yeah.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This operational item is to explain total compensation statements and the process moving forward regarding the statements. In mid-July, all employees received their total comp statement for fiscal year 23-24. So I'd like to review the purpose of those statements and the components of the statements. What are total compensation statements? Total comp statements are documents provided by employers to their employees detailing the total value of their compensation package. These statements offer a comprehensive overview of both direct and indirect compensation, helping employees understand the full value of their employment. These statements show the employer-paid portion of comp and benefits. Benefits of providing total comp statements include transparency and trust. Clear communication about compensation builds trust and transparency between the employer and the employee. Employee retention. Employees who understand their total comp package are more likely to appreciate their benefits and remain with the company longer. Motivation and performance. Detailed statements can motivate employees by showing the full range of benefits they receive, fostering a sense of value and loyalty. Financial planning. Employees can use these statements for better financial planning and understanding the full value of their compensation. And a competitive edge. In a competitive job market, detailed compensation statements can be a valuable tool for attracting top talent. So the procedures moving forward after the end of every fiscal year, all regular full-time, part-time employees, firefighters, council members will receive a total comp statement toward the mid to end of July. As far as the components of the total comp statements, the first section is the compensation section. It includes things like the annual salary, differential pay, allowances, on-call pay, and bonuses.
Excuse me. You say excuse me, Mayor, in July, we're gonna receive this information.
Yes. So after the end of the fiscal year, my team takes about a week and a half to prepare these statements, so they'll be produced for employees towards the end of July every year.
And that's not something we've done before.
No.
And this is something the new employee coming in gets told also.
Yes.
Okay.
You're welcome. Section 2 includes the health and welfare benefits. This includes things like medical, dental, vision insurance, and any form of insurance and retirement that supports the employee and their family that is paid by the city. Section 3 includes paid leave benefits. This is time taken, not accrued, and includes vacation, sick, birthday, volunteer, and holiday hours paid by the city. Section 4 is federal and state mandated benefits. This includes Social Security, workers' compensation, Medicare, and Medicare benefits that are paid by the city. Section 5 totals the compensation and benefits for an overall total at the end of the statement. Section 6, the first chart that is shown is a column chart, and it's just a visual of the statement in a column format. And then we have an additional chart, pie chart, that shows a visual of the statement broken down by percentage. And this is what the statement looks like in its entirety. The employee receives their statement through their work email. It's a PDF document that ranges from 2 to 4 pages in length. Can I answer any questions about the statements?
I thought I'd seen one of these. Is there any way I would have gotten one of those?
You did, yes. So these were sent out in July.
To everybody? Okay, so it was this year.
Did it once already.
Yeah, the way you answered the question.
We asked for it.
Yeah.
When we were talking.
I thought
about
we,
raises.
it sounded like we were starting to do it, and I was starting to think I was
Yeah,
losing it.
We sent them
That's
out.
Where I saw
No.
one.
The reason we're doing this
Yes.
operational item is to explain the content of them.
Yeah, I like it.
yeah, because I don't know, there's still more things in here. There's clothing allowances, there's tool allowances, there's vehicles driven home. Is that part of the package being recognized?
So everything that's included on the statement is what our current ERP Cassell tracks. So I am limited to whatever that system is tracking, but we do have things in there like uniform and tool allowance, yes.
Yeah, that's, well, you can bust through Cassell somehow, I know, and add it to it, so they recognize that's a benefit also. Even if it's just clothing we provide them, that's important too.
Anybody else? Thank you.
Training, CDLs.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm glad to be here with you tonight. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about our upcoming Citizens Academy. We hosted the first one that we'd had in a long time last year, and it went really well. So I'm going to hurry and get you through this. I know everybody's probably about ready to go, but I just want to highlight some of the great things that we accomplished last year. Our goal in doing this is to better educate the public, members of society, business leaders, city leadership, everybody about what exactly our job is. So a lot of times when we sit down with somebody and they have questions like, hey, I had this happen, what would you do here? What would you do here? And I'll tell you one answer I hate to give that we frequently have to as well, it depends. And that's a very attorney answer. I have a brother-in-law that's an attorney, and you can't get a straight answer out of him. I really don't like to do that. With this program, it gives us 8 weeks. So we can sit down and we can run through a lot of those scenarios that are going to come up in people's day-to-day lives, interactions they've had with the police, and or things that they've seen, things that they've heard. We can debunk a lot of myths. We can provide good information about what it is that we do in our community, and just provide that understanding. So I'm not going to read this verbatim to you, but some of the things as we go through this, I want to go through the schedule of what we have on the agenda this year. So this year we've kind of changed up a little bit, and we want to have a little bit more organization to our process. We want to take people through a basic overview and understanding the first week, introduce them to our chief, the sheriff, the chief of police, and Thatcher. We're going to be working with the Graham County Sheriff's Office, the Thatcher Police Department, and the Graham County Attorney's Office this year. They've all agreed to participate with us and are excited to work with us in this and show the services that they offer as well. We do have a great working relationship with all of these agencies, and here in this valley, that's kind of the only way that it works sometimes. We all definitely do rely on each other, and so it's good to showcase that in this. First week, we're going to have our welcome and introductions. Give a little bit of an opportunity for the members that are there to ask us some questions. Ask them, hey, what do you want to see out of this experience? What are you looking for? What are you looking to learn? And try to address that the best that we can over the next few weeks. And we'll start with just the basic overview of criminal justice, why we do what we do, what systems are in place. The following week, and this is something that's new, we're going to go to the sheriff's office. We've scheduled to tour the jail facility and to then also go and have a presentation and take a tour of the dispatch communication center. Both of these are services that we work with daily, and we haven't actually been able to offer a tour of the jail in the past, so this is something new this year. The following week, we're going to break it into the patrol division. Patrol is the kind of the heart and soul of the police department. These are the guys that are answering calls for service and responding to domestics, traffic, regular patrols, alarms, domestic violence, DUIs, and basically anything you can think of. They're the first ones that are there. So we're going to give them that overview and some of the tools that they work with and the calls that they take and the things that they do. The following week, we're going to break into a little bit more specialties with DUI enforcement, drugs, and interdiction. A big hit is always the canine demonstration. So we're going to have the sheriff's department with their canine to show narcotics and showcase that. And the following week, we'll move into our investigations division. The investigation division, we try to showcase and do some case reviews on major cases that we have had in the city. Our county attorney is going to also be there this week to give an overview of that process and that system and how it works. The following week is where we get into a little bit more of the exciting things. Some of the reasons a lot of people get into law enforcement. They let us carry a gun and drive a car really fast sometimes and do some neat things. So a lot of people have questions on that. We get to explain defensive tactics, why we do what we do, arrest procedures, help to understand use of force and options that we have available to us. And then we'll get into the firearms training system. So they'll actually get some scenarios. There's a big screen down at the Thatcher Police Department where they have an interactive system where it puts you in use of force scenarios. And you've got to decide fairly quickly a lot of times what you're going to do. And it gives that overview of it's not always so easy to make those split-second decisions. The final educational week will take place out at the shooting range. We'll get to show them our range where we get to train. We have a shoot house out there with tires to simulate a house with rooms and do some building clearing and movement. And our officers will give a demonstration on that. We actually, if the participants want to, we do a live fire shoot. We let them shoot a little bit with a one-on-one instructor ratio for safety purposes. And then we put it all together. All the things that we've done, we've taught them, we've shown them that we do, we will set up into some scenarios where they'll actually get to carry our simunitions, firearms, and engage some scenarios. So it's always a good and exciting time. And the last and final week is our graduation. We try to make a big thing of it. It's a lot of time and effort on these participants to be there. And it's a sacrifice for them, and we like to recognize that. It's a commitment that they make, and it benefits them. It also benefits us for them to see what we do and be able to relay that when things come up. So this has been a great program, and we appreciate all of your support in this. We currently have about 11 applicants, I believe, and we're slotted for 20. So this week is our deadline. So if you know somebody that's interested, we would love for you to send them our way to get an application. I talked to Vance as he was headed out, and he said he's going to try to push it also with the chamber. So we're super excited about it. It's a great program. We appreciate your support. Councilman Arvizo.
How do they sign up?
So if we have applications in the office, actual ones that are printed out already, or you can go onto our website, the City of Safford website. It's under programs, and we also have it on our Facebook. There's a link on our Facebook, and that will go out again this week also. Any other questions? Thank you.
Okay, then we'll move on to item number 13, announcement of current events. Anybody?
I just wanted to let council know that I will be out of the office next week, so just a heads up.
Number 14.
Mayor, I had a request kind of from some residents in the Central Avenue that speeding has been going on there a little bit more, all the way from Relation till they hop the canal. I didn't know if we possibly could get I don't know how many of them speed screens we own. And if one couldn't maybe be on there or not on Central, 'cause they're overdoing it. I've witnessed it.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor. We do have a speed trailer that we are currently having it charging. Make sure we have it up and running. We went and got it out at the yard today, so we're making sure that it's operational, basically. We did set out, because I had the same complaint this morning, so we set out unmarked cars, ran radar out there. The only one we got was a tractor trailer that was doing the paving. So, we've been on top of it, so we'll continue to be on top of it.
Thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
I also had, we never did make a real decision or a consensus on how we were gonna go about picking the next peoples on the park committee, whether I think it was, we did talk about it in one meeting, but I don't remember how we were going about there, because I just seen a new advertisement on it, and I was thinking one way and then another way. I'm not quite sure how we're gonna fill that.
And, you know, I think that maybe the information from the discussion that we had may have not been as clear. We can still, we want to go back to 7 members. And there were 2 members who would basically, and it would have been the mayor and Councilman Arbizo, could have made direct appointments. If you would like to do that, we can simply do that and not use the application process. If you'd like to have applications and have council decide on those last 2 positions, you could do that. So either way works for us. So you'd prefer to review applications as a body? Is that okay, Councilman Arbizo, or did you want to have somebody as a direct report or appointment?
How does everybody feel about application process?
I like having a
We did direct appointees. What I didn't like about it was us voting on people we didn't even know with the application on the last one. So, but however you guys want to go about it, it's
If we
just,
wanted to pursue the applications again, you could
Yes,
do
we're out there.
interviews and then, so we could kind of mirror what we did for the council appointment process so that you had more time to review the apps.
Kind of what we're talking about, like having to vote. It's kind of awkward.
That's why it's easier for you to appoint your own person on there and go through all that.
Do you want to go with direct appointments?
Yeah, I think
I'm
that'd be a good
I'm
idea.
for that.
Okay, so then we have two positions. That would be the mayor and Councilman Arbizo. That's my understanding. And so we can get you, well, we don't need to get anything for you. You can let us know who your appointment's going to be. All right? Okay.
What else? Anything else on what, future agenda items? That's it. We'll go on to item 15. We'll close the regular council meeting and reconvene into executive session.
Make the motion, we go into executive session and take a 5-minute break.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, a 5-minute break. Let's make it quick so we can finish up tonight.
We all here? Yeah, wait for Arnold.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, you could.
Mayor, I make the motion, we reconvene the executive session.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to reconvene, back into, we don't need it. Oh, to close, okay. Number 17. We don't need that. Number 18.
I make the motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.